welcome, Leah.
Hi. Your eyes are so pretty.
Thanks.
I think this is the most intensely I've ever looked into your eyes.
I'm gonna try not to be awkward when I look into your eyes.
She's gorgeous, y'all. She's gorgeous.
Thanks. We'll be looking intently at each other's eyes because I'm like, ooh, the lash. What lashes are those?
Couldn't tell you.
You couldn't tell me. Okay.
Could not tell you. Sometimes I reuse my lashes and I just put them in a random box.
Oh, okay. So you really just like don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I love it. When I do try to put eyelashes, it just takes me like longer than to do my whole face.
It's definitely a commitment. Duo. I have it with me.
The clear one?
No, this is tinted. I usually like the clear one, like the white one that goes on, that dries clear. It's fine. But yeah.
I just think I need to practice some more.
Absolutely.
I feel like when I do them back to back, I get faster at them, but then I don't do it for like 8 months. And I'm like.
Yes. I hate when the glue gets caught in the corner and then it attaches to your bottom lash. So then when you open your eye, you're just like, yeah.
So we are in Chicago right now.
Yeah.
Super excited to be here with you.
Yes.
It's 25 damn degrees outside, but you're a Florida girl. So can you just like briefly tell me how you got here?
Well, no. So surprisingly, I don't mind the cold as much as you would think, being from Miami.
Yeah, I'm very surprised.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm in layers anyway most of the time. So fall, my jam.
Yeah, that's when we show out.
Fall.
Jabbies be like, we've been waiting all year.
This is our time to shine. Like, give me the rock. Let me go. Let's go. You know. But yeah. So I got here in Chicago from Miami via dental school. So basically college brought me here and I just kind of stayed. Okay, so I graduated in 2020 and so I've been here ever since.
Okay, cool.
Living life.
Were you in Miami your whole life up until that point?
So no, so I was in Miami and then I moved to Jacksonville, Florida, which is like up the coast of Florida. And then I moved to Atlanta. And then I moved to where
we were together for a little bit.
We were together for a bit. And then I moved to Chicago.
Yeah. Very, very cool. We met, how did we meet?
In a group me.
Oh, the Black Muslim Greek
yes,
group me.
Yes.
That's so crazy how some of those like random chats, you actually be making real friends. Like, what was that?
This was years ago.
8 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, because before you got married, but definitely before I got married.
Yes.
So at least 8 years ago.
At least.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, it was so cool. I was like, whoa, they're Greek and they're Muslim. Just like friends.
And that's when GroupMe was huge, right? Like everybody was on GroupMe daily.
Everybody was on GroupMe.
Oh my God. The notifications were insane every day.
Such a weird time.
Very weird time.
Such a weird time. Yeah. We were all in a chat room basically together.
Yes.
On our phone.
It was like AOL came back.
Yeah.
Reincarnated.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we did meet there. And then we ended up in Atlanta. I think when we were in the chats, you weren't in Atlanta yet, if I remember correctly.
Honestly, cannot remember.
Okay. I think at some point you then moved to Atlanta. I was like, oh my God, you're here. Let's meet up.
Yes.
One of my clearest memories of us in Atlanta was when we decided we were going to get fit and work out.
Oh my God.
We were at the park. Do you remember?
I remember that.
I was trying to be like motivational. I was like, Leah, keep pushing. And you're like, I'm not breathing. I was like, no, you're not.
What a camera at? Girl, no. Absolutely
You
not.
literally almost passed out.
Absolutely not.
I had you do it.
I was at a 0. And you were like, let's punch it up to 100. And I'm like, why would we do that? I'm about to die.
You literally.
It's hot.
It was hot.
Haven't
We were in
worked out in
layers.
years. We had hella clothes on. Like
we literally were, y'all, we were in the car outside. Okay, before we got outside, when we were driving to the park, right? I don't know why I had this idea. We were eating, what is it, Sour Patch Kids and Smart Tarts in the car and then went to work out with like half a bottle of water. It was really... We almost took her to the hospital.
It was
bad.
awful.
Yeah.
And then I was like, never again. Never
worked out again.
Never again. I could check in on you like, oh, how's your workout going? But will I be joining you? Absolutely not.
That was so funny. So that was one of my first memories of like us hanging out. And then you moved to Chicago. And what were you like? Okay, so all I remember was that like you got married soon after you went to dental school, and then you've been here ever since. And then social media, like you had a following, but like walk us through from you leaving Miami to then you get into Atlanta, marriage, and then when you got into it's a lot. Just give us a breakdown.
Okay, so I'm from Miami, and I spent majority of my childhood there. Like really, really in a bubble of Miami. Like we never really went on big trips. Like college was the first time leaving the country. So like I was 305 till I die. Miami-Dade County, that's it. This was back before social media, which was like, thank God.
Why do you say that? You know what? I'm glad that I don't have a lot of Facebook pictures before because the pictures that it'd be embarrassing.
I would be so embarrassed. I'd be like,
these 15-year-olds, like when I was 15, I was not stylish. The makeup, the blending, the eyebrows.
I wasn't. I had big chunky jewelry, all from like Claire's, yeah, like whatever. But anyway, happy that those memories are dead and buried. But so yeah, I was in Miami. I went to college there, and then I ended up transferring from my undergrad to UNF, which is in Jacksonville. And then I finished out my degree there. But my degree was in communication. It was in...
Really?
Yeah, it was in strategic communication, like journalism. I was going to be a journalist. And so...
I could see that.
The only thing is that I was like, man, this feels kind of like unsteady. Like, I'm like, this feels like I got to really like build a name for myself and like a career for real. Like, this is too much. This is me, young Aleeyah. Like, I can't do this. So then I was like, well, let me fall back on the medical field kind of thing.
I remember literally we went out for lunch. I think it was like the Pickly Pear or something like that in Atlanta. And you were like, I think I'm going to go to not nursing school. I think I'm going to go to dental school. And I was like, isn't that like 4 years of school? Are you sure you want to do that? And you're like, I think so. I'm just gonna do it. Just,
that's me.
Literally.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
Yeah, let's just try it. See what happens. Like, that's so funny. Okay, yeah. So so while I was finishing my degree at UNF in Jacksonville, I was minoring in chemistry. So like this was like in the back of my mind. I was like, just in case.
You always have a fallback plan.
Gotta have a fallback. Gotta have a plan B.
Okay.
Because baby, life be life, fam. Okay. So I finished my degree, got it in journalism, worked as a freelance journalist for a little bit, moved back to Miami, and then I was like, not giving what it needs to give. Like the lifestyle that I want, I was like, oh my God, like as a freelance journalist, I'm making nothing. So, and I was also living back home with my parents. And I love my parents, but I was like, I need to be able to support myself by myself. Yeah. And freelance journalism is not gonna do it for me. So I was like, let me revisit dentistry. And so since I minored in chemistry, I had a lot of like the prereqs for dental school. Yeah. And then I just did a post-bac. So I did like a few classes at FIU, finished, and then I applied to dental school. It was a hot mess. Like,
was it?
It was a hot mess.
What made it a hot mess?
It was a hot mess because it was so disorganized, because a lot of times people know they're going to go to dental school from undergrad, like they're like, I am going to be a dentist. Yeah. And so like they have it all mapped out. And I felt like for me, I was just like, I'm going to do journalism. Well, maybe I can do dentistry.
Why dentistry though? Was that like a random thing?
No, it wasn't random at all. Because I was like, I like the work-life balance. I like the autonomy of having to own or being able to own my own practice ultimately one day if I wanted to. And then also, the mouth is about this big. So it can't get that bad to me in my mind versus like a physician.
You don't know what you're going to get.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I guess people like specialize. Like, again, I wasn't really thinking about this. Didn't really know that there were more options. I just thought dentistry, mouth is small, let's do it. So, so I went back, I finished, and then I applied. And then it was a hot mess because there were some due dates of like when you could take the DAT, which is a dental admissions test. You have to take it by a certain date for that test to apply to that application cycle. And so I took it past the date for that application cycle. And so they were just like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. So I was like, oh my God, that was one university. Second university, they got back to me. I think it was Howard. And they were like, you have to send in this supplemental application. It was like some money. And I was like, I don't really have any money right now. And again, a hot mess. And so I didn't really know how to navigate this for real.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have anybody to ask because I didn't really have an advisor because I was doing post-bac classes. So like there was no real guidance for real. And nobody in my school had gone, no one in my family had gone to dental school or like advanced like medical schools. So I was just like
kind of just on your own trying to figure it out.
Winging it. Yeah. And so and then the last school that I applied to, it was Midwestern, and they just didn't get back to me. Like they didn't tell me yes, they didn't tell me no.
Nice. I love that.
They ghosted me. And so I was just like, well, okay, I guess I'm going to get a master's in more communications.
More communication?
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to do health communication. I just made up a major because I was like, I'm going to be in the health realm, but I'm just going to do it in a way that, you know,
works for you.
Works for me. So I, in the mix of like applying for dental schools and like master's programs, then I met my husband. Like I had already met him, but like we were like seriously talking about marriage and things like that. So we were kind of planning going to school together. So we applied to Georgia State together. And then we actually applied to University of Miami together too. And he got in, and then the university ghosted me. And I was like, what is happening right now? But they didn't really ghost me. They actually sent me like an acceptance, but it got sent to my junk mail. And I had no idea. Like months had passed by, and I checked my spam one day, and I was just like, "Oh my God, I'm into this school, but it's like so past the deadline now." And like,
damn, that sucks.
We had already like, no, it was
you weren't supposed to be there.
I wasn't supposed to be there, and so like honestly, I think it was meant for me to like move on from Miami because like that would have kept me there. Yeah. So this is what it is.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
So at this point, did you actually? I know when I met you, you already had quite a bit of followers. And
really?
Yeah. And I don't remember. I know that when you got married, a lot of those photos went viral too.
Yeah,
but you had a lot of followers from before.
I feel like I was on Instagram, but like, oh my God, I just completely spaced. I had followers because I was doing College Hijabi Chronicles.
Okay, what was?
That's why. Okay,
you're like, why did I have followers?
I was like, I had followers? I did have followers. Girl, I had a whole YouTube channel. This was back in the day.
Yeah, because I remember when you were leaving Atlanta, I found out you had a YouTube channel. And at that point, I had known you for over a year. And I was like, girl, when the hell did you get a YouTube channel? Yeah. And your cats made a debut in the channel. Yeah. I think Brill was also on the channel at one point.
He was.
Okay, so what was the...
Wow, I've really lived some lives.
You've been doing this thing for a minute.
That's crazy.
So what was the Hijab Chronicles thing?
So the College Hijabi Chronicles or collegehijabi.com. Wow.
I love how we're still doing the show.
College Hijabi, yes, because it was a whole thing back when I was at UNF. Oh my God. So I was the only hijabi on campus that lived on campus. Oh. You know how Muslim parents will be like,
you're not going nowhere.
Exactly. And so I was all the way in UNF, and I was just me by myself in my little scarf.
Living your best hijabi life.
You know?
Yeah.
But I was like, this is so weird and isolating. And so like, you know, I was trying to be on the dean and like not be out here in these streets for real, like back at UNF. And I was like, I am lonely. So then I was like, let me talk to the internet about my feelings.
I love that that's the conclusion we came to.
Yeah. So then I just got on there and just started talking about being a Black Muslim woman in college. And
at that time, it wasn't a lot of us doing that.
At all.
Girl, because our parents would have killed us. Did your parents know about this?
Absolutely not. Of course not. So, yeah, what year was that? That was like in 2012 or 13.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a while ago.
Was that, when you started that, was the point of it ever like, you know, influencing financial?
There was no influencer.
Okay.
This was back when there was like, it was a blog, like a vlog. Yeah. I was like, video blog. Like that was a whole new thing that like wasn't even.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just started it.
And how did it go?
It went fantastically. Yeah. Like it was weird. Like people were like, whoa, like this is amazing. Like men who would not, or guys who I went to college with or high school with was like, I never knew this much about you, Aleeyah. I'm so sorry that you felt like this. And I was just like, thanks. Like,
you're not the audience I'm trying to talk to.
You're not my target audience at all, but thank you for the views and the clicks.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
We appreciate those around here, yeah.
But no, and then, just like people would reach out, and it just felt, it was a way for me to not feel so isolated and alone, and also to like make a little online community. And so that's how people started following me, from college hijabi. Dang, that's crazy.
I want you to post on your Instagram, like how many of you guys have been around since college hijabi? And then
there are some people on there,
ride or die, who've been with you for years.
Literally years. And so
that's awesome.
I almost forgot about that. Wow.
And then you got married. And I think you had slowed down with social media after you graduated a little bit.
I did because I think for me, I like to use like social media and the internet in a way that's like, that helps me, that like it adds to my life. And so whenever I feel like it's taking more than it's giving, I'm like, I'll see you later. So that's kind of how it felt like in the transition of once I was getting married. But then once I got married, I was just like, let's talk to the internet again. So then I would do like random videos with Jabril all the time.
And people love, I don't know what it is about the internet that really love like black women and black men together. Like once you get married and your husband's willing to be on camera or not, even like images and videos of him not willing to be on camera.
Still, they're just like, oh my God, we love this. And I'm just like, he not even doing nothing.
You're not doing nothing.
I'm the one selling the records.
They coming to see me. Oh, they coming to see
the Temptations.
Girl.
Yeah, because our wedding photos did go viral.
Yeah, I was seeing them everywhere, mashallah.
Everywhere.
They were so cute.
I was so cute. I was like, at a certain point, I was just like, I hope this is more good in the world. Yeah. And not just like, you know, because, I don't know.
Yeah, the internet could be a weird place for sure.
The internet's weird.
Since there's been other people that I've kind of like followed and other family members who are now interested in medicine in general. And I had no idea how complicated, how taxing, ambiguous, right? How much gatekeeping happens.
Girl.
And
the gatekeeping.
Yeah. I know that like racism can show itself anywhere. There's nowhere that its unwanted face won't be. But in the application process, like how was that for you? Because eventually you ended up turning into a resource that like in your comments, people would ask you tons of questions and all types of stuff. So how was that for you?
So I love to pay it forward because I reached out, again, social media. I reached out to dentists, like I literally Googled. I remember standing in my parents' house in my bedroom, like on Instagram, like looking up Black women dentist hashtag. And like whoever popped up, I was in their DMs. Yeah. And so some people responded, and like I still follow them to this day, like, and they follow me. And then even one, like she like gave me money for my graduation. Like it was just so, they really do look out. And I feel like social media can really be such a huge resource. And so because that type of advice was given to me, like she was like, what to look out for the PAT. Like there's certain parts of the DAT. Yeah, there's so many things. And so she's like, this is what I use. This is da-da-da-da-da. And so I was like, okay, bet. What do I have to do? Yeah. And so now, on the flip side of that, I definitely try. Yeah. I try to help as much as I can because complete strangers helped me. So why not?
That's awesome. Yeah. How was it like when you decided you want to come back on the internet? How was it returning? Because I think me and you have very similar relationship with the internet. Like we'll do it when we really feel like doing it and we'll be there 110%, right? Like you had this thing with Tuesday.
Yes. Yep. So back at it again. Feeling
Hi, internet. Hey, I'm back.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing? After ghosting your followers for 6 months.
Literally, no, but like I was in dental school. So like the first 2 years you had an exam every single week.
You were telling me that you had an exam every single week. And I was just like, again, girl, ain't they tired?
Every single week. And I had no idea that like we were going to be learning about the entire body. So like now I'm like, oh, again, the things that you would know if you had like mentors or people that you knew like in the field or like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was just going to dental school. I was just like, okay, let's just talk about teeth. That's it. But no, it was like, no, you're going to learn the medical coursework. Like, so us and the medical students take the same courses the first 2 years.
You told me that and I was shocked. I was like, oh, good.
Girl, you. I was shocked.
You're shocked?
You're shocked?
Oh my gosh. Oh, so yeah, you were struggling, but you were committed too.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm not gonna quit. It's no quitting.
Yeah.
So I'm in it. So the first 2 years were rough. And then not just the coursework, socially it was rough. I struggled so much in dental school. Like
really? So
much. Because again, it was so isolating because I was the only Black woman in my class.
Damn.
In the class before me, the class below me.
No other women of color.
No Black women.
No Black women. Damn.
No Black women.
That's crazy.
From none of the diaspora. so I, or at least that identified as Black.
Yeah.
You know?
Listen.
Because some countries are in Africa, but y'all wasn't claiming Africa.
That's so yeah. Okay, moving on.
So I was the only one. And so it was just very isolating. Very isolating. No Black faculty. No Black staff.
How does that happen in a place like Chicago, though?
Let me tell you something, because I have to tell you something. There was one Black man who was in that building regularly, and he was the janitor. And me and him were on first name basis. You hear me?
Oh my God.
Like he was like, hey, Aleeyah, da-da-da-da-da. And so like, that was like real type of like, you know, people, love, you know? Tell me why he passed away. I went to the funeral and everything. I kid you not. I was devastated. I was like, the one Black person in this building who knew my name is dead? Like, are you kidding me? I was so sad. I was so sad.
Girl.
So, needless to say, I turned to the internet.
Once again.
And so then I made Tooth Tuesday.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm going to talk to the people who need it the most, because I also realized that there were like huge disparities, like health disparities amongst Black patients and the dental community. And I was like, there is a huge divide.
Yeah.
And so like regular Black people, college educated Black people, regular schmegula folks don't know anything about dentistry. And so then I was like, well, in an effort to feel more connected to my community, because I'm definitely not getting here, I'm starting Tooth Tuesday with this specific thought in mind. So like a lot of my videos are just me talking to you regularly, how you would, you know, talk to a friend about teeth.
I was watching for real. Like I learned a lot of stuff. I went to my dentist, like my online dentist, Aleeyah. They're like, your online dentist? I was like, you asking too many damn questions, okay? But honestly, a lot of stuff that you talked about, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And were helpful and even guided my conversations and how I approached my care with my dentist. I think I called you once and I was like, this hygienist cleaned me for 2 minutes and I just know that ain't right.
I remember.
You're like, no.
Yes. I was like, get a second opinion. Go someplace else, girl.
I love that. Yeah. And I feel like, but that also probably came with people sending you unsolicited, hey, this thing is in my mouth. Can you?
Yeah, I get a lot. I get a lot of teeth pics.
Your DMs?
So many. I'm just like, absolutely not. Like some of them, like, cause you know, they come with the image blurred. I'm just like, delete.
Instagram blurs them for you?
Yeah.
Cause it knows.
Cause it's like, you're in my request folder sending me pictures.
Oh my God.
No.
Complete strangers. I thought at least people who had followed you had been.
No. Sometimes when they follow me and they send me questions, I'll respond. Cause I'm like, you know what? You the homies. Yeah, sure, I'll answer. But you don't follow me on any of my platforms and you send me pictures of your mouth, ma'am, sir, absolutely not.
Very weird.
It's so weird.
Oh my gosh. So I feel like you've always been very, very, one thing that we always got along with was one, feeling like our hijabs did not hold us back.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like we had very similar viewpoints on that. And very independent, very, I'm gonna do what I want, I'm gonna figure it out. I don't care that nobody else has done it. I don't care that you don't think I can. I don't care. Like, so I always loved that ambitious spirit about you. And you've always been down and very, very connected to being Black, like your Blackness, which shouldn't sound as weird as it is, but there's a lot of people who don't, and that's okay. But I think that I connect with people who are very authentically themselves and are very rooted in who they are. And I appreciate when people acknowledge their Blackness and when they're comfortable in their Blackness and they're unapologetic about their Blackness, right? And I feel like when you went to school, you had always been about us. But I feel like when you went to school and had your experiences, I feel like when you came back with Tooth Tuesday and even your content, you came back bolder and even more unapologetically like, I'm here for us. Like, if you're enjoying this content, great, but I'm really talking to us. So let's be very clear about that.
Because dental school tried to beat the spirit and life out of me. Wow. It's just I'm not even being hyperbolic. I wish I was. Like, I really struggled in dental school, like identity-wise, because now all of a sudden, like, you're a doctor. And so when I'm looking around, no one looks like me. Like, everybody is old and white or old and not Black. So now I'm like, I don't see myself in anything that I don't see myself reflected in anything that I'm trying to be. And so then it made me feel like, should I not wear my scarf? Should I wear my scarf? Like, what if I didn't do it? Would that make me more doctor-like if I didn't? And so it just was so hard. And I'm thinking that, like, I've gone through, like, I've been in the world, like, I've experienced it, whatever. But it was something about being in this, like, highly pressurized area or, like, time in my life. And I don't know. I mean, like, there were definitely Muslim people in school too. Like, and there are other hijabis as well. But, like, it's just different.
It's different. Your experiences are different.
It's different.
Your perspectives are different.
The community there is different. Like, you all have each other. Like, I did not. So I definitely wanted to be intentional about, once I, like, came back to myself, you know, because it was a roller coaster. But once I came back to myself, I was like, okay, I definitely want to be intentional about, like, who it is that I'm really trying to serve, like, through this degree that I'm about to get.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I love that. And I think, so on the podcast, we have all different types of people come on. We have entrepreneurs, professionals, and I think, and all of them are Black and brown. And there's a common theme that emerges where once you get out of, like, your parents' home and you're in corporate America and you're really trying for these very prestigious or very gated communities or things like that, right? Trying to break through that glass ceiling. It's very isolating. There's a lot of second guessing and identity crisis that happens because, and I don't know what it is, and I need to probably talk to a therapist about this, like, in general, like, to understand how it works, but there's something weird about being in a system where you're following a set of rules, regulations, and, like, a learning path of this is your path to greatness, but fundamentally you don't see yourself reflected in it. And the kind of psychological warfare that happens with, like, should I be pursuing this when I'm not in these books and I'm not in these faculties and I'm not in these, even their perspectives and their definitions of success. Some of it feels a little, like, wrong to a certain extent. But you're still, like, having to push through because you know you're not only doing it for you, you're doing it for your family, you're doing it for the girls and the guys behind you and the next generation, and the other people who need access and the other people who need your perspectives. So I was really surprised to hear you struggling so much because I would have thought in the medical field where so many, you know, I feel like a lot of Muslim girls especially are pushed into the medical field or encouraged to do that or teaching or nursing or something like that. So I was really shocked. But at the same time, understanding that our Black Muslim experience is definitely unique, I was like, okay, it feels like there's no place where we can really escape that this is who we are. And I think that empowers a lot of the stories that I've heard on other episodes. Is like that gave me even more intentionality of, like, all right, well, I'm gonna be here and I'm gonna really put on for us to show you that, like, you're not getting rid of us. You're not gonna shake us off, scare us off or whatever. And it sucks going through it, but you also become stronger as a result.
I don't think I realized how much I was struggling while I was going through it.
Yeah. You don't have time to, I guess.
Yeah. So, like, once I got out of it and, like, had clarity to, like, look back, I was like, woof, Leah, let me give you a hug. Like, I want to give my past self a hug because it's just, she didn't know what she was doing. She was just trying to, like, survive.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
So, Yeah.
So you finished dental school. At what point did your social media really become a business instead of you just talking to the internet?
So while I was still in school, I knew that I couldn't give certified medical advice because I was a student.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of the things that I would talk about was just like hygiene stuff, like stuff that you would have in conversation, like chairside with your dentist, but like not actual like medical advice.
Yeah.
And so that is when I started taking it seriously as a business, because I sat down and I was like, okay, I'm about to graduate soon. At some point, I want to have a practice. Like I want to, establish myself, because I feel like you have to have an internet presence nowadays. Like back in like, when I first started back in like 2012, 2013, it was like, you're good, whatever.
Yeah.
But like now I'm like, if you have a business, you need to be on the internet.
Yeah, because that's how people find you. That's how people validate. Like, does she have an Instagram account? Let me check her out.
Yep,
Exactly. It's almost as required business card, but I feel like it's kind of replaced for certain people, for certain industries. It's replaced your website. Like, they want to see, that's their first place that they go to.
1,000%. I don't know the last time I've ever gone to someone's website to look them up. Mm-hmm. Like I literally just go to their socials and see what's up.
Yeah.
So I sat down with myself. We had a business meeting, me and me. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay.
Brought the ladies together.
Yes. Yes. I was like, okay, I want to have this brand deal. Mm-hmm. At the time, I was like, this is the one that I want. And I literally remember writing, I want to get flued at, okay? Flued. AHT at. So that was one goal. Another goal was like, okay, I really, really want to get to 10,000 followers. Like I don't know why, but I was like, I need to get to 10,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
That was back then when you could only swipe up. You could only do the swipe up.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wasn't that a ghetto time?
It was giving trailer park. It was giving yikes.
Yeah.
So that was like I've made it goal. And so then once I realized that, I'm like, oh, if you sit down and like plan out what you want, inshallah, it happens. Yeah. It all like came.
Like intentions and.
Yeah. And like your energy, everything. And so I was just like, oh shoot. So I got the brand deal and I was like, let me get another one. Shoot. Mm-hmm. Now that they're like available to me, like mentally, like I'm like, now that this is something that I can do, let me really like try to see if I can build this. So then I started like shooting my shot at brands, sending them my content. And then I got some pretty good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were like on buses and stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I love how you forget your own.
So that was, yeah.
You got flued out a few times.
I got flued out
on a billboard at one point?
I was on a billboard. I was on the side of a bus. I was on a commercial on TV. Mm-hmm. It was all really, really cool.
The stock market too, didn't you guys go?
Yep. I went to the New York Stock Exchange. Shout out to FIGS. Like they were like really, 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 really generous, I think. And like just like how much they were willing to like take a chance on you, girl. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. What advice do you have to folks who are listening who, maybe they have a social presence and they're online, but they haven't actually monetized and they're trying to get like started? What do you say to those?
I would say have a meeting with yourself and figure out what you want your end goal to be. Okay. So like when I first started, my end goal was literally get flued out and get flued at, okay? And then get a brand, like get a brand deal and then get to 10,000 followers. Like that was literally it. Those were my two objectives. And so once you have a clear, like, I want to do this, then do the steps, not do the steps backwards, but like kind of like work backwards and figure out what you need to do to get there.
Okay.
And then just start. I know everybody says that, just start. But really, just start.
It really is, yeah.
My first videos, trash. The quality, awful. Lighting, horrendous. The sound, are you kidding me? So, but I just started. I just did it.
Yeah.
And then people still watched. I don't know if you can get away with that nowadays.
I feel like you still have to get started. I think what started looks like has changed.
Yes.
Right? But it looks different 5 years ago from 10 years ago because the technology and the stuff has changed.
Yes.
But even with the podcast, right? Like I didn't know what my podcast name was for the first like 4 episodes. but I knew that I had to get started.
Yes.
And even now, like I look back, we're editing the first episode this week and I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad. But I'm putting it out anyway because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
So I feel like you do have to start because you have to learn the mistakes to get better. Unfortunately, there's no way to improve without practice. Like hire all the coaches that you want, all the trainers that you want, buy all the equipment, but you have to do it.
You just have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so annoying.
It's so annoying. I wish there was a way to like jump over that part and just like be good at whatever you're going to do.
It just does not work like that.
But you just have to do it.
Yeah. Okay. And
to monetize, because we have to get the money.
Yeah.
Okay. I would ask people what their going rate for their services are. I wish I had done that earlier.
Like your friends and stuff?
No, like people who like are where you want to be.
Oh, like, or like going back to the internet and like, hey,
going to the internet.
I want to be like you.
Hello.
I want to.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. So legit, like just ask them because I wish I had done that because I was like, once I found out how much other people were making for doing some things, I was like, oh, the price is going up.
Were you underwhelmed?
Yes. And then I feel like I talk to you and I call you a lot. When it comes to money, I'm like, I'm done. What do you think I should be charging? And you're like, I remember you were just like, take it, double it, and add tax. And I was like, you're right. Because I'm like, you are uniquely you. Mm-hmm. And like, if you do have value, we all have value. But like, if you have like real value that you're adding to like the space that you're going to be in, charge these companies. The big companies, run it up.
Run it up.
Run it up.
It's so funny because like, it's interesting in our friendship. There's a lot of areas that you're fearless in, and I come to you for advice, and I'm like, I don't know if I should do this, and da 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 da. And you're just like, just do it.
Just do it.
What's gonna happen? And then when it comes to the money stuff, and I don't know why, because I've not monetized my platform, to be honest, right? Like anything that I've done business-wise has actually been behind closed doors, and I've never launched or I've never done a campaign. I've never pitched to a company before.
You be getting to the bag.
I be getting to the bag.
You be getting to the bag.
I'm trying, right? And so you'd call me, and it would always baffle me when you call me, because you'd be like, I think that I want to do this. And I'm like, who is this person? Where is like Vibe Leah? Like, what is happening right now? And I remember like, I would literally tell you, be like, is that too much? And I'd be like, literally double it and add tax. Because the government's going to get theirs.
They are.
And you don't want, and you're like, but why? And I'm like, okay, let's really talk about this. Yeah. You got makeup, effort, light bill.
When you started laying it out like that, I was like, you're absolutely right. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, because like, it's not about how hard it is for you to do. It's about what the company's going to get. And if they're offering you, companies don't do nothing for free. Even the charity is for a purpose and for a return, right? And so I appreciate that, like, we've always been able to like share that kind of stuff and like build each other up.
Yeah.
And it's been really great to see you getting flued out more often in bigger and better places. Yeah. And so I also, the other thing I like about your journey too is a lot of people don't think that they can do social media because of their profession. But even in a industry like medicine where there's HIPAA, and there's a lot of red tape and guidelines about what you can and can't do, you found a way to do it authentically you. And how do you balance that? Like, does your work know about your space?
I think they do.
She said, we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about it. I mean, now when I was getting hired, I think when they Google you, my pages come up.
She said, I got trademarks. And do.
But yeah, I think they know now.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's been helpful because like
part of your value.
Yeah, because I'm not a fool. I'm not gonna get on the internet and like do things that are gonna hurt my career. So I was always cognizant of that, even when I was in school, to be careful of being like, okay, I can't say this, I can't say that, because this is my license on the line. Like, this is like a license that I spent years years and a lot of money to pay for. Why would I jeopardize that for the internet? That doesn't make no sense.
Yeah.
So people have been getting in trouble for it, though.
Really? Yeah. I love that. I love that you found a way and a path to do it your way in a way that's like authentic to you. How do you manage being online and taking breaks, right? Like we've talked about this before privately, but how have you gotten comfortable? Because I used to feel a lot of guilt about ghosting. I felt like there was like a pressure to always be on, always be performing. And it, and it was exhausting for me. As much as I'm an extrovert and I love people and I'm energized by people, it also comes for me in ebbs and flows where I'm like, I'm out in the streets and then I'm gone for 6 months and you don't know if I'm alive, right? How have you been able to find balance?
Because sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do. And sometimes it's a nice, healthy balance. You know what? No. So I think what has helped me is streamlining my process. So in the beginning, when I started like recording these videos, I would be doing my work. Oh my God. I'd be recording for like 2 hours, like to make a 30-second video. So scripting your content helps a lot. Leaving yourself a little wiggle room to like make those funny, like quirky off the cuff comments that make it personable. So that way your personality shines through.
Yeah.
But yeah, streamlining the process. Now when I do a video, it's so much shorter. It's so much faster, so much shorter. I script it beforehand. And then I just do it. Sometimes I just do it after I get off of work when I'm already in my scrubs. It's just like ways that make it easier for you.
Efficiency.
Yeah, efficiency, but something that makes it feel like it's not an extra full 9-to-5 job that you have to go to.
Okay. And how have you mentally gotten to a place of peace with being on the internet, but then also taking the time off that you need or that you want if you don't feel like it or whatever? What's your approach been?
I think my approach is that like the internet, although it is a fantastic resource, okay? It's a resource. It can be. These are not your people. Like this is not your actual community. Like your friends that you go to, your family that you go to, like in real life, like those are the people that like replenish me in a way. And so like if I need time off from being on, I take the time off.
Yeah.
One thing I'm gonna do.
Did you say one thing?
One thing. One thing. One thing I'm gonna do is take time off. I love a good time off. PTO, please.
Prepare the others.
Prepare the others. I'm not going in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love taking time off.
We'll be taking PTO to go to Beyonce.
Why do we do that at the same time? Because we have to, because it's Beyonce. Because it's Beyonce. There's no other way to respond to that, honey.
I hate us.
So annoying.
Oh my God. The fact that we did that on cue. My parents, Mom, if you're watching this, I know you raised me better.
I know, right? I'm never showing my parents this link. They will never see this footage.
Oh my God. This is what you're doing? Okay. Oh, Lord. So yes, we are excited. This will be our first trip together. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's been this long. We haven't done a girls trip, but I am beyond excited.
Me too. I think it's going to be a good time.
I think it's going to be a great time. And hopefully we'll be in a content mood so we can capture it.
Yeah.
And if not, oh well.
Yeah.
We'll do it next time.
Yeah. I mean, we could get a reel off here or there, but like.
That's about it.
That's about it.
Yeah, we're not doing too much.
Yeah.
Cool. So with all that being said, you've accomplished so much, right? What's next for you at this point?
Okay, so right now I work in a public health setting. So public health dentistry is basically working at a safety net clinic. So people who don't have health insurance, people who are homeless, people who are struggling with finding consistent housing, HIV positive patients. So I basically just work only like in that population.
Okay.
And so the upside of this was that they paid for my 4 years of dental school.
Thanks. Mashallah.
Mashallah. Alhamdulillah.
Woo, girl.
Alhamdulillah. Because baby, it was $500,000. $500,000.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
So again, one of those things I didn't know about. I I literally just Googled, like, how do I pay for dental school? Like, after I found out I got in and the scholarship popped up and I was like, okay, I'm going to apply.
And then you got it. MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Because
we were so excited. I was excited for you because I was like, that's it? I was like, what did you have to do? You have to sell a kidney? What are we doing?
No, I'm just
like,
writing essays.
Yeah.
That journalism degree, baby.
Yeah.
I need this money because.
Please send a check too.
Listen, but it worked. Alhamdulillah, it worked. So I'm working there for 4 years. So that was the agreement. So 4 years of dental school paid off, 4 years of working in a high need area. And so once that is complete, the goal is to open my own practice.
Cannot wait.
So we'll see how that goes. I'm scared.
Why?
Why? This is gonna be the biggest lump sum of money besides my degree that I would be responsible for, like, repaying, because I need a business loan. Also, a business loan. I'm gonna have to have a business, and so like,
but you have a business.
No, but like a brick and mortar. Like, people are coming to me. I'm providing them a service. I mean, I guess they're doing that now, but it's just like.
It feels different.
It feels different. Like, I'm gonna have to design everything in the building. Like.
They're gonna be Beyonce playing in the bathrooms?
Of course.
the whole music's gonna be Beyonce. I'm gonna call you one day at your practice and be like, why is Beyonce not playing on the whole week?
Oh my God, there should be different rooms for different albums.
Sneak peek, you heard it here first.
Beyonce, if you're listening.
Sponsor your girl.
Not even sponsor, just come say hi.
Yeah. We could put your business plan together and pitch it in London when we see her.
Please. Yes. sling a business plan on the stage. Yeah.
That'll be a first.
Yeah.
I'm sure nobody's done that. Anyway. Okay, so practice, you're nervous but excited.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And have you done the internet researching thing that you usually do when you go find other people who've done it?
Yep. So I reached out to several people, and I actually went to an office of a girl. She's not even a girl. She's a grown woman, but she's my girl though. Hey girl. So I went to her office. It is gorgeous. It's 7 Bridges Dental Studio. It's so pretty. Like, and she went the route of like having a consulting firm, which I was on the fence about. So I was like,
do that. What do you mean a consulting firm?
So when you first start a practice, you can go one of 2 routes. You can buy an existing practice from a doctor who already has one, has patients, and is just ready to sell it. Or you can start a business from scratch, start a practice from scratch.
Okay,
And so if you go from scratch, there's a lot. So in that from scratch lane, you can buy a practice, like buy a place that was already a dental studio. It's just been, there's no patient base. So you're just like buying it and like starting it from scratch. Or you can buy
a space, build it out from nothing.
Build it out from nothing. And so I don't know what that's gonna look like, but if I do go the route of like having a space built out from nothing, I wanna have a consulting firm. And so you would have a consulting firm and they do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. So they help you try to secure the place, find a place. Once you do that, you have to get funding for the place. And then once that happens, you design the place. And so there are so many things you have to think about, like from the computers to the telephone, light bulbs, things that I wouldn't even have to think about normally. You have to, because you're starting from scratch.
I'm assuming that costs more money though. Yes. Yeah. And does.
It's a lot. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But it's not an astronomical amount that can't get repaid, because like people do this all the time, you know? And that's my thing. Like, if it can be done,
if someone else did it, then why not me?
It can be done and I can do it, you know? So, but I say all that to say, going to her practice and seeing God, it's gorgeous. I wish there was a way for you to see it. It's so pretty. I'll show you pictures. Okay. It's so pretty. But this was the actual consulting firm that I was going to use. And so I was like, sold.
It's one thing to like dream up something in your mind, but to actually see a manifestation of it, even if it's not yours, there's something, I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but there's something that happens when you can lay eyes on it and you can touch it and feel it and smell it and experience it that makes it real. And something in your brain goes, we're building this. Okay, got it. This is what we're working on.
This is totally doable.
Yeah.
But we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
My goal is to do it, line it up for when my contract ends with this current job.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Okay,
we'll see.
For people who are listening, who may be in a medical field or another industry where they're the only one, with all of the success that you've amassed, mashallah, up until this point, what advice would you give if they find themselves in a situation where they're the only ones and they're struggling and they feel isolated, but they're steady working on their goals? What would you say?
Well, it depends. It honestly depends, because I'm a person that enjoys community and like talking to people, and like I too get energized from people. Not all the time though, but sometimes I do. But you have to figure out what's important to you and what is going to fill your cup back up, because these programs that you're in, whatever they may be, it's going to be so draining, because you're going to have to give like 99.7% of your energy and attention to like succeeding in these programs, because they're not easy. They're
demanding, yeah.
They're hard and they're demanding. And so figure out ways to fill your cup back up in a sustainable way, because I wish that I had done some things differently, but you know,
hindsight's 2020.
Hindsight's 2020, and it just is what it is, and it's just part of my journey, and whatever. So, but finding the things that make you feel more complete and that give a little bit back to yourself after you're done pouring everything out, and then also realizing that just because you haven't seen yourself there doesn't mean that you don't belong there. It just means that you're not there yet. Like, you're not there yet.
Wow.
Yeah, it's being held for you. Like, your spot's there. You just have to like walk into it.
Wow.
So
that's powerful.
Thank you.
I love that.
Thanks.
Okay. I love that you are changing the perspective of, if I'm not there, if somebody like me isn't there already, my spot is being held for me.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to realize that?
Yikes. No, I think...
Let me ask you this. At what point did you realize that?
Honestly, I think when I got more confident in what I was doing, when I was like, oh, I'm a really good dentist. Like, I'm good at what I do. So it was just more of like trusting myself and like realizing that like, okay, like I can do this. Like, this is something that I'm completely capable of doing. And I think for me, that was like the last year of my dental school. And then when I also saw that like doors were opening for me, regardless of like how limiting I thought my appearance or how I showed up in the world was. So like, it wasn't a limitation. Like, that's something that like somebody else put that in your head, or like in my head at the time. That didn't come from like the facts, like the hard, cold facts, So like, it was just an idea that I held about myself.
Like a self-limiting belief.
Yeah.
And then over time, it sounds like you had enough experiences and enough examples, enough evidence that's like, this is not
contrary.
True.
It's so like, oh, this is actually false. So like, not being able to connect with my patients right away, because I thought that like when I walk into a room or when I walk into an operatory, like the patient has literally like 10 seconds to decide if they're going to like you and trust you or not. And so for me, I was like, oh my God, like we look completely different. Like, what's going on? But no, like when I talk to them, I talk to them just like I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah.
And so like that builds trust with them. And that's it. Like, it's just like you showing up as yourself. Like, that's the sauce.
Yeah.
That's the juice.
You are the
juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so funny how it takes us so long to figure that out.
Yeah.
But then once we get in touch with that, find a really compelling why to root us, there's something magical that happens. And then doors literally just start flying open.
Doors you didn't even knock on.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was like, what's that over there? Is that a door?
Is that for me?
Girl, let me go through this door.
Let me go through this door.
Because literally,
What y'all got in here?
Right. Y'all got snacks.
Oh,
so foolish.
What was, of all of the, you talk a lot about connecting with your patients, and I know in private we've talked about some really touching stories. Is there one experience with a patient that stood out with you that really reminded you, damn, this work is really important? Like, it may have just been like a day for you, like, oh, it's a Wednesday, I'm showing up for work, but.
You know what? For me, my most like impactful patient was when I was still in dental school. Like, it was this older Black woman, and she just gravitated toward me. And like, she shared so much about her story and why she was at the current state of health that she was currently at, you know? Because dentistry or oral health or teeth, it's one of those things where patients apologize a lot for it. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, my teeth are so bad. I'm so sorry. So
really?
Like, because like, it's one of those things that you're expected to be responsible for daily, like brushing your teeth. How, you know, like brushing your teeth, flossing, like you have to do this, or if not, X, Y, and Z will happen.
There's a lot of shame around it.
It is. And so when people end up in my chair and the results are there of them not doing things, they feel like bad. They feel so full of shame. And so she just broke down in the chair and started crying about why, you know, why her mouth was the way that it was. And again, I'm a baby almost dentist. Like, I'm in my 4th year of dental school, but it was just something like I've always just wanted to reach people where they are. And I don't know, like, she put so much trust in me. I'm not even a full dentist yet, but she put so much trust in me.
She's like, you're the woman for the job. You're
yes.
Like,
I'm just like, okay. So
here we go.
Yeah. So like, we did like a full reconstructive, like, set of teeth for her, basically, like did implants and all this stuff. And I remember telling her that I was about to graduate, like as she was walking out, and she like linked her arm in my arm, and she was just like, I'm so sad to see you go, but like, you know, congratulations, you know? And it was just so, I don't know. It was just like, it was just so much more emotion than I thought it was gonna be ever about teeth.
Because you knew that, I think subconsciously you knew that it was more than just about teeth, but it felt like a moment you kind of knew neither one of you guys would ever forget.
Wow.
Absolutely.
And that we probably hadn't had before, you know? So it was like, oh, this is special. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. This was so much fun.
Thank you.
I am so excited that you had time to join us. And yeah, where can we find you on social media?
So my socials are Dr. Aleeyah, at Dr. Aleeyah.
Period.
You know, so I'm sorry, I gotta stop that. So
I kind of like it.
I'm a full doctor. Okay, I have to stop that.
Can we redefine doctors? Doctors do that. Doctors are...
I mean, you're right, because I've been cutting up. So it is what it is. Yeah. But yeah, my socials, Dr. Aleeyah. So DOCTORLEEYAH.
Perfect. Love it. Well, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you so much for having me. And I love everything that you're doing.
Well, thanks.
And I don't know how you have the bandwidth to do all that you do, but you get it done.
Girl, prayer. Send me some drawers when you get a second.
Oh, absolutely.
But thank you.
I'm just kidding.
I'll take it. I will take it. Bow your heads.
Fuck beer. No, okay.
All right.